It's a foggy sim day in Kansas and a storm is brewing. It won't be taking us to the land of Oz, but it will be taking us through 165 laps to find this season's newest winner. All in the Race Control Appreciation 250. Welcome to Pit Stop TV in the virtual Kansas City, Kansas. My name is Andrew Cardinale IV, and it's a one-man jam this evening on the broadcast, and it's a pleasure to join you for coverage of the BRB Buttkicker Cup Series. Tonight's coverage from Kansas is brought to you by the Buttkicker, by Ascendance Trucking, by Ideal Lease, by Sundance Pizza, and by Whiplash Simcams. And this is race number 4, the Race Control Appreciation 250. We love that wacky and crazy race logo there on the broadcast graphic. And of course, another big thank you to Ascendance Trucks, Ideal Lease, and Sundance Pizza for presenting these broadcasts to you all season long. Without them, these broadcasts simply would not be possible. Race number 4 this evening, let's take a look at the track map here at Kansas Speedway. It is a classic D-shaped oval, a cookie cutter if you will, and it was only open in 2001. So it's one of the newer tracks around on the NASCAR circuit, but boy has it become a fan favorite in years of late. It has really risen to a beloved position in most fans' hearts, I'd say, at this point in time. Of course, it had that classic finish earlier in the spring of 2024 with Chris Buescher and Kyle Larson, and it's had fantastic finishes on and off the sim for 23 years now. A quick look at the BRB Buttkicker. I can't say it today. The BRB Buttkicker Cup Series point standings. You can see we're now tracking that cut line. So we're presenting these guys as being either above or below, no longer tracking just to the leader. Isaiah Sutherland is the points leader, though, 69 points above the cut line. The nice cushion there to that cut line of Jared Hughes. Matthew Selby sits in the 14th spot. Jared Hughes 13th. They're right on that cut line, but just a little bit below it. Dustin Stallings in 12th, Evan Patinko in 11th. They're just above. Not much room right around that cut line right now. A lot of very narrow gaps above and below and all around that cut line that we'll be talking about for the next, 10 weeks or so. It feels like 10. I think, hang on. Let's do the counting. Let's bring that graphic down. Let's go to the schedule. 10 weeks. Including this week. 10 races left until the playoffs. And boy, we'll be talking about these cut lines and everything for 10 races then. Kansas, Bristol, Austria, Nashville, Chicagoland, Pocono, Darlington, Daytona, IRB, and finally Michigan as the cutoff race on February 25th. All of that out of the way, though, let's talk about qualifying. Cars are hitting the racetrack and ready to go fast this evening at Kansas Speedway. We do have a couple of bulletins to talk about, most notably for these guys, that the dynamic track has been changed. I think second up, you definitely have to talk about the fact that these cars did undergo a bit of an aerodynamic change in the last day. In fact, the last few hours on iRacing. Today is build day, meaning we got a brand new update to the iRacing.com sim today, and along with it, some new updates to these cars. The steering wheels are different, the aerodynamics are slightly different, the damage is slightly different, and of course, dynamic track has been changed a little bit as well to hopefully be a little more realistic and have more marbles on the racetrack. Here's a look, though, at Brendan Maddox in qualifying. About 2/10 off qualifying pace so far, off the pole pace anyway. Johnny Wood Jr. fastest first lap out. He's faster on lap number 2. So on board with Maddox as we begin the 4th race of the evening through qualifying. It's a 30.989. That's much faster for the 8 car, but still outside of the top position. That'll be 5th place, looks like, for Maddox when it's all said and done. It might change a little bit. Sam Dyer on the racetrack in car 35. And across the stripe, that will complete lap number 3 for him. Richard Wolsifer is on the track. This is also the first race of the BRB Bonus Brawl, brought to you by Maddox Graphics. Essentially, drivers have bought their way into a pot, and they're pooling together money. The top driver through the bonus brawl races will get that money. And this is the first race of the bonus brawl. Anyway, Wolsifer on the racetrack, 14th quick first lap out. Actually, that was lap number 2 for the 56 car, so he will stay mid-pack. Richard Smith goes 24th on his second lap. David Mayberry on the racetrack, he's going for the bonus brawl. And across the stripe for Mayberry, it's going to be a 31.383. That is good for a 24th spot. Bumping Zachary Brandvold down a position. Brandvold, though, on lap number 2, screaming down the backstretch. It's a 30.864 for pole. Nearly a tenth ahead of anybody else. What can Brandvold do? Can he get to that pole time? It's a 30.933 for Brandvold. That's pretty quick. That's P2 for the 55 car. Scott Fritz now on the racetrack. That was lap 2, right against the wall off of turn number 4. What's it going to be? Oh, a 31.447. A little bit sour there on that lap. And it will not count for driver 48. He will have to start from the rear. Matthew Selby shuts it down. Brandvold goes for an extra lap here. This will not count. And he will slow it down. Well, that will do it for us this evening then from qualifying. Nobody else left on the racetrack, it looks like. Dakota Bly was. He is now off the racetrack. That leaves Scott Fritz, Sean Lester, and Matthew Erickson, the 3 drivers not to turn a lap in qualifying. And as the timer runs out, that's it. No other times able to be run. That's your starting lineup. Let's go through it. On pole this evening, car number 75, Johnny Wood Jr. with the first starting position alongside Zachary Brandvold in spot number 2. Starting from the 3rd spot this evening, it'll be Adam Buzzio. Dustin Stallings from 4th. Starting 5th, it'll be Isaiah Sutherland. Stephen Borbell from 6th. Starting 7th and 8th, you'll find Brendan Maddox and Jared Hughes. 9th and 10th will be Dakota Camper and Gray Walker. Starting from the 11th position, it'll be Matthew Catania in car number 18, Braxton Skinner from position number 12. Starting 13th is Mason Hausman, 14th Eric Jensen. Starting from the 15th position, Richard Wolsifer in the 56 car, alongside the 07 of Josh Anderson. Starting 17th and 18th, it's Cody Dorsey and Cole Lewis. And to complete your top 20, Carl Pooler and Zachary King. 21st spot, Patrick Hernandez. 22nd, Zachary Maddox. 23rd spot, Matthew Selby. 24th spot, Coulter Clark. Then in 25th, it'll be Evan Patinko with Cole Younger in 26th. Finally, in 27th and 28th, David Mayberry and Richard Smith. And that, I believe, was the end of drivers who took a time. Maybe it was Tony Patton and Dakota Bly, the last 2 cars. Anyways, Robert Moyer Jr., Sam Dyer back here in 31st and 32nd, Scott Fritz in 33rd, Sean Lester in 34th, and Matthew Erickson in 35th. Weather conditions this evening, they are a little bit strange, I would say. 70 degrees in the air, 78 on track. It's a cool fall day, but there is a lot of fog in the sky. You see mostly cloudy indicated there on the graphic. You see all the fog, all the haze. It looks like we're in the middle of Los Angeles or middle of I don't even know, some congested city somewhere with a bunch of smog. It's fog. I can't believe it. There's a whole bunch of fog in the sky. We had this, I believe, in this league back at Talladega a season ago. Or was that might have been Icon Cup Series action. But regardless, we've had this before. At the start of a race where there's a whole bunch of fog at the beginning and it burns off throughout the day. We'll see if it burns off here at Kansas today. Whiplash SimCam's race details on your screen. 165 laps. 40 laps in stage 1, 40 laps in stage 2, 85 laps in stage 3. Your stage rates come at the end of lap 40 and lap 80. 5 change sets, 80% fuel. 6 setups, 1 fast repair, and 3 green-white checkers if needed. We're open for a green flag kind of race today. We'll see what we get. We had some chaotic action at Dover in the best of ways. A really fun race, even though there were some extra cautions maybe to what was expected. And as somebody smokes the tires on the pace lap, we're about to go racing. The iRacing.com pace car pulls off to the relative safety of pit lane and leaves the field in the hands of Johnny Wood Jr. Green flag is in the air at Kansas. Off the second corner and down the backstretch for the first time. There was a hiccup on the start, but everybody gets through okay. Bonus Brawl drivers at the front, highlighted with their blue spoilers and blue windshield banners. Already, Sutherland, the points leader on the inside of Buzzio, and your pole sitter hits the wall on the exit of turn number 4. 1 lap complete in the Race Control Appreciation 250. Sutherland took a charge to the inside there of Johnny Wood Jr. for a moment. Now Buzzio has a charge, and he'll dive to the inside of turn 3 and send it up underneath that 24 car. Not quite a slide job. He makes the pass. Will slide up now and take second spot away. Johnny Wood Jr. drops down all the way onto the apron, defends that first spot. You see Brandvold and Maddox going back at it for 4th and 5th. Sutherland all the way down to the inside of the racetrack. Let's go on board with car 24 as he fights the inside of the 5 machine. He will not get that position that lap. It looks like Johnny Wood Jr. is not a part of the bonus brawl, meaning your top driver right now seems to be Adam Buzzio in that second spot. We'll try and track this as the day goes on. It's not exactly easy to keep track of it, but we'll do our best. As Buzzio is going to charge to the inside of the 75 car for the race lead. Brandvold sits back in the 4th spot, and Mason Hausman gets the wall. Hausman newly added over to Maverick Motorsports this season. Fastest that lap, even with the wall tap. He will charge around the outside of his teammate Brennan Maddox. Maddox gives that spot up. And you hear the downshift down through the gears to 4th gear. He'll upshift out of the corner back up to 5th, right about here. Yep. And I think something we'll have to follow throughout the day is what line burns tires the most, bottom versus top. And right now you're seeing a very interesting split of some drivers choosing to run just the top. Johnny Wood Jr. is in that group. Some drivers choosing to run the bottom through the corners. Sutherland has been in that group. Buzzio has been as well, although he abstains from that lap and goes high. And it seems like the fog is starting to burn off a little bit. We go to the scenic camera here, you can see more definition in the clouds now. It seems like it's burning off a little bit. But there is still a bunch of haze down trackside. Single file for a while, down to about Eric Jensen and Braxton Skinner. Of course, in the corners, they fan out. They take every line possible. Jared Hughes down to the inside of Richard Wolsifer. Wolsifer going to try and charge by on the outside. This is a nice little side-by-side fight for 12th position. Here comes Jensen on the inside. Racing with Braxton Skinner and with Jared Hughes. Boy, those logos look good on that Jared Hughes machine. Pitstop TV, Whiplash Sim Cams, we appreciate the support there. Matthew Catania to the inside of Gray Walker. I think Walker might actually be going to the outside of Catania, rather. I believe that's the order. As Walker's going to have the... Oh, boy. Well, we will be right back. I unfortunately don't have Zach Murtis to carry through some radio-style broadcasting this evening, so bear with me, and we'll be back at iRacing here shortly. Welcome back to the virtual Kansas Speedway. Down the backstretch we go here on lap 15 of 165. Nearly a tenth of the way through this race. The haze is starting to burn off, and you can see we've got a battle inside the top 10. Stephen Borbell, Dustin Stallings going at it. That was for the 6th position there briefly. They sorted out. Borbell has the spot. Buzzio has a challenge from behind in the form of Mason Houseman. Houseman goes straight on by, and the 78 car is charging ahead back to the race lead here. He's second place in points. He's already got a win on the season at Phoenix, and we know he wants to defend that title. He's going for it this evening at Kansas Speedway. So I knew something sounded a little bit off there. Going for it this evening at Kansas Speedway, has the win at Phoenix, wants another here. Side by side behind Houseman, Sutherland and Buzzio. Buzzio starting to head the wrong direction. Sutherland trying to move back up into the top 3. Brandvold sitting just behind, then Borbell and Stallings, then Maddox and Walker. Wolsifer and Camper for the 10th and 11th spots. Camper has 10th, Wolsifer has 11th. Dustin Stallings moving forward, now working on 5th place. has gotten by Borbell, looks ahead now to the 55 car Zachary Brandvold. His teammates in the 25, that's Gray Walker a little further back. Oh, that was close off the corner. That was really good. Brandvold looks a little free that time through turn number 2, bobbled down to the inside. Stallings gonna charge on the inside here for turn number 3. The 0 trying to continue to move forward in that BRB bonus brawl. Oh, and a tap to the wall for Brandvold. I love the different faces we've got this evening fighting for position up front. And, you know, we still have the Buzzios, the Sutherlands, the Housemans, the Woods. The top 4, I think, are very much as expected. But we have some other names here, like Dustin Stallings getting back up to the front. Zachary Brandvold showing his name today. Stephen Borbell, Brendan Maddox in the top 10. That's nice to see as Sutherland grabs the wall there through 3 and 4. But Gray Walker's in that top 10. Dakota Camper as well. He's back here in 10th spot. Actually make it 9th. Gets ahead there of Gray Walker. We've got to turn our attention up to the top 2 positions. Mason Houseman has tracked down our race leader halfway through stage 1, and the 78 car has tracked down the 75. Talked about it last week. Johnny Wood Jr. taking Mason Houseman's spot over at Limitless Esports. Houseman moving over to Maverick Motorsports. Starting a new journey for Mason Houseman. A new journey in the BRB Buttkicker Cup Series. Some new friends around him. A lot of new support. I know he's excited for this season. Has been excited for this season. Was excited to get that race win at Phoenix. And just overall stoked at the new opportunity to show what he's made of. I thought he'd be alongside Johnny Wood Jr. by now, but a couple laps later, no dice, so we'll fall back for the moment. Sutherland has gotten by Adam Buzzio for the time being. Buzzio, though, charging back on the inside. We've also got Brandvold and Stallings side by side. This is a very racy racetrack. There's going to be a lot of action all night long. Through the next 140 laps, it's going to be difficult to cover it all. Got a battle in the back of the field. How about Tony Patton, Coulter Clark? Talk about these guys for a brief moment. Robert Moyer and Sean Lester are racing. This is for 32nd spot. Lester going to grab the wall there at a turn 1. Robert Moyer, some left side damage. Cody Dorsey and Tony Patton doing some racing. Dorsey gives that spot up and will fall back to 27th position. How about Evan Patinko and Carl Pooler in the middle of the field? On board with Patinko. Patinko leaving it in 4th gear there on the backstretch. We heard earlier Houseman was upshifting on the back straightaway. Patinko, though, using 4th gear to his advantage and just gets by Carl Pooler, who grabs the wall there on exit of turn number 4. A little bit of right front damage now to the 81 of Patinko. Not sure if they made contact or not. Sure looked like they could have. There's a side-by-side between Catania and Hughes. Hughes will grab the spot and move on forward to 12th. Catania falls back into 13th position. Scott Fritz, Braxton Skinner. Skinner grabs the wall on corner exit. Fritz is moving forward. If you recall in qualifying, he was not able to get a lap in cleanly. Grabbed the wall on corner exit. His lap was invalidated. Had to start from the rear of the field. To be 18th spot already. And even since we came back into the session, from 27th up to 18th. That's 9 positions just since we joined the session back some about 15 laps ago. Selby, though, having some trouble. That was, I think, wall contact off the corner that time. Zachary Maddox goes by, and a lot of these guys, I think, are getting tight, getting up into the loose stuff on corner exit out of turn number 4. Turn 2 seems okay for these guys, but turn 4 has been treacherous in terms of wall contact. Oh, man, real close there between the 55 and 3. Brandvold coming down across the nose of Dakota Camper. Camper trying to go by. Hey, there's some blue sky up there. The haze is burning off. We like to see that. Brandvold gets passed up. Camper takes the spot away. Sutherland and Stallings now race. Buzzio's gone away from the 24 car. You see that brand new paint scheme for the Racers for Christ driver of Isaiah Sutherland pulls away. Stallings trying to keep with him, but the 24 is just a little bit better right now. Put some time on him on corner exit. There's about your top 10 all in one frame for a moment. A little battle popping up here between Maddox and Wolsifer. Everybody's gotten strung out. Wolsifer grabs the wall there. Tracks up the outside wall for a big portion of turns 3 and 4. Falls back now. And will have to stay in the 11th spot for the time being. Catania into 12th here. Jared Hughes down into 13th spot. This is where the fighting is. Josh Anderson, Patrick Hernandez, and Carl Poole are fighting off the corner. And a reminder, stage 1 ends at the completion of lap 40, so it's coming up. Johnny Wood Jr. in that position to win the stage. Mason Hausman second spot. Hernandez trying to get up the racetrack. Gets into Pooler maybe. Pooler gets the wall. And Hernandez will seemingly make the pass for the time being. Pooler, though, going to have an opportunity to come back at him. Caution. Cole Lewis in the 52 car has got a problem. And this may take us to the end of stage 1. Quick spin. Did a good job of locking it down and keeping it straight. Driver out of Canada. We don't have many of those. That was... Who is that in the 13 car? Cole Younger. Just getting into the left rear there of the 52 of Cole Lewis and sending him around. Let's see here. Do we have a lot of cars pitting? We don't. So I would expect this to not count for the stage. meaning we'll have a quick restart for the end of stage 1. But there are a lot of cars coming in. Josh Anderson, one of them. Carl Pooler, and so many more. They're going to get their pit stop now, and they'll be able to cycle to the front after the stage ends. And this is a really smart play for a lot of these guys. Pit now, that way you don't have to pit after. This will flip the script for the beginning of stage 2. Matthew Selby with some trouble here. Has been in the pit lane for a while, is reversing now. "44 seconds in the box." That's not what you want. Dakota Blythe is going to come down. You know, speaking of the new iRacing build, Dakota Blythe was super excited about something that came to iRacing today with this new update. And that is the brand new Gen 3 supercars from Australia. And he posted a picture during practice that he was running laps at the Charlotte Roval in one of the new supercars. Took his time out of his day, took time out of practice to go run laps in a supercar, and then jump straight into these cars here and go racing for race number 4, the Race Control Appreciation 250. Having some fun with the brand new iRacing update. Hey, that's the fun of life. That's the fun of iRacing, able to do that. Up front, it's going to be a 3-lap scamper to the end of stage number 1. I see a lot of blue banners up front. Buzzio, Stalling, Sutherland, Borbell, all going for the BRB bonus brawl. But here we go, into the Geico restart zone for stage number 1. Green flag back in the air, 3 laps to go in the stage. And one car to the inside is Braxton Skinner. He hangs on to it, joins the racetrack once again. Mason Hausman's going to try and charge up the outside lane and try to find something here on Johnny Wood Jr. Gets the wall pretty good on corner exit and won't find anything here. 2 laps to go on the stage. Caution, that'll do it. Coulter Clark in the wall hard, backwards. Down across the racetrack, and his day isn't done, but it's going to take a beating for sure. Josh Anderson goes by with some damage. Evan Patinko's got damage. Coulter Clark, though, seems to have gotten the worst of it. So Johnny Wood Jr. wins the stage. Oh, Richard Smith got up into Josh Anderson. Coulter Clark tried coming by on the bottom side. Matthew Selby made contact. They were 4 wide. And, oh my. Race cars don't usually handle very well in reverse. Go back here on the restart. Selby tried getting by the 23 car of Smith. Just squeezes by on the inside. And Smith just got tight net-coated into the Meatball Motorsports 07. Came down the racetrack. Never squeezed the 52 too hard, but then the ricochet off of Selby when Selby made contact with Cole Lewis is what does this. And that means 2 cautions in a row, including Cole Lewis in that 52 car. Really big hit for Selby, really big hit for Smith. And Coulter Clark was just along for the ride at that point. But this brings us pit stops. Some cars staying out, but Johnny Wood Jr. leads the charge onto pit lane. Zachary Brandvold, Adam Buzzio, Mason Houseman. Here comes Houseman trying to get Johnny Wood Jr., and he will. Mason Houseman wins the race off of pit road. Will beat the 75 car. And the stage 1 winner is going to have to start behind Mason Houseman for stage number 2. Let's dial up driver 75 this evening with a stage win under his belt now to begin the night. That's always a good way to start things off in stage 1 to get the stage 1 win. As you choose here, Johnny, how's the car feel?
Yeah, it's pretty good. I'm power saving mode. I think a lot of people flip the stage. I definitely forgot about that. So I was like, oh, Mason got me, but we got a whole field in front of us. So we'll see. Protect the top, really. That's all it is, and just patience with your tires. Don't burn them up.
Yeah, this completely changes stage 2 now, and how does that change your approach to this restart? Of course, you would have been out front if not for that late caution at the beginning of stage 2. Now you got to fight through a field. How's that change things?
Yeah, I think I'm going to try to patiently fight through this field. We got one fast repair. Be very careful and protect the top. We got some people wrecking, but yeah, just try to get through the field while protecting the top. Try not to burn it up. We still got to go 40 laps, I think, to 90. So
Fair enough. Johnny Wood Jr. stage 1 win. Best of luck here.
Yep, appreciate it.
Let him get back to it as we enter the Geico restart zone, but we will not be starting this time by. He mentioned something in the background. Maybe some cars crashing under caution. That's never what you want, but the field will take one more pace lap, it looks like. And we'll be going to the end of lap 100, not 100, lap 80, rather, here for stage number 2. Flash SimCam's race details on your screen. Under this caution, we can take a look at what's upcoming here at Pit Stop TV. Next up, tomorrow night, it's the New Hampshire Motor Speedway for the No Limit Racing Sim Wrap Market Series. We'll be going and having some fun in the Granite State. Some new drivers joining the series as they're mid-season now, racing to race number 12, where they'll begin their playoffs and fight for a championship to race 18. Then later in the weekend, we'll be going to Five Flags Speedway for preliminary racing on Friday for the Sunshine Derby 300, then the Moonlight Derby 100 on Saturday, and the Sunshine Derby proper on Sunday. Geico Restart Zone coming up for Patrick Hernandez, Scott Fritz, Carl Pooler, and the 13 of Cole Younger. Green flag back in the air. We are racing once again at Kansas. Couple of cars blocking there on the start. That was Buttkicker blocking Houseman down to the inside. And Houseman's just going to charge by on the outside lane. He gets the wall, though, maybe. Buttkicker squeezes there 3 wide. Maybe some frustration already in this race. Brendan Maddox gets loose, hangs on to the race car just. Up front, Patrick Hernandez, Carl Pooler, and Scott Fritz, your top 3. Of course, they pitted at that first caution right before the end of the stage. They flipped the stage, if you will, and are able to start at the front now for stage number 2. So Patrick Hernandez out front leading some laps. And this completely changes things for Scott Fritz, of course. He started in the back. We talked about it already this race. Not able to get a clean qualifying lap in. Had to start from the rear of the field. From the back to the front. And nearly able to lead some laps. Just trying to get to that 91 car. Johnny Wood Jr. goes fast as he's in traffic, of course, fighting through Zachary King. He's your Atlanta race winner from race number 1. And King will give that spot up into turn 3. Johnny Wood Jr. goes right on by and pulls the slide job attempt and is clear of the 51 of King. You see Wood protecting the top of the racetrack, does not want to let anybody get to the outside of him. Knows how valuable it is to be up there for corner exit. And how about this? For the race lead, Scott Fritz goes by Patrick Hernandez. Carl Pooler watches on. Hernandez now slides back as Scott Fritz puts the 48 to the race lead at Kansas. Some tight racing back here in the top 10. Braxton Skinner, Evan Patinko, Zachary King, and Stephen Borbell just ahead of him. King in the wall. He'll slide back, gets the car off the wall, slides in behind the 8 of Brendan Maddox, and that will be good for 13th spot now. Mason Houseman's hungry. He's aggressive. Goes to the inside of his former teammate Carl Pooler here to turn 3. Fights on by for 3rd. Now looks for 2nd. Johnny Wood Jr. behind him. Dives all the way to the apron on the front stretch. And Scott Fritz might have just dropped out of the race by connection issue. Meaning Patrick Hernandez is now the race leader. Scott Fritz might be back for a half second. This is going to change things up out front. This means this could be the fight for the lead. Fritz pops back in, drops back away, pops back in. He's on the inside of the racetrack, right down in front of where Mason Houseman's trying to run. But if not for Fritz, Houseman would be the race leader. Houseman now to the outside of Fritz. Scott Fritz is back. Houseman charges though on the outside and is going to break through and pass the 48 car outright. Mason Houseman to the race lead at Kansas Speedway. Not so fast, says Scott Fritz. Fights back on the inside. Patrick Hernandez there and waiting. And now I think Houseman's got him. Mason Houseman breaks through to the race lead here at Kansas Speedway. There they go off of turn number 4. Johnny Wood Jr. gets to the outside of Scott Fritz. Haven't taken many of these static shots yet tonight, but boy, are they good here at Kansas. Standing out 3 wide now, Fritz, Wood Jr. And Johnny Wood Jr. goes, that felt weird saying Wood Jr., but Wood, that's an odd last name to work with. I don't know why, but Johnny Wood Jr. fights on through, will take second place away. Goes by the 91, goes by the 48. And how about this run for Eric Jensen so far? In the top 10 right now here at Kansas. A solid run out of him this evening, and Patrick Hernandez and Evan Patinko, some guys that desperately need to have a good run. Having it here as Johnny Wood Jr. throws a massive slide job on Mason Houseman. Houseman brings the crossover. Attic to Basement for the 78 and back to the race lead. He will get ahead of the 75 car, but maybe not able to clear. Oh, and he puts the 75 in the wall. Wow. Fritz comes back on these two. That is the aggression we've seen out of Mason Houseman, despite already having a win, despite being the defending champion. That's the aggression we've seen out of the 78 car, as we see 3 wide in the background, including Isaiah Sutherland and Richard Wolsifer. Braxton Skinner in this. Jared Hughes in this. Are they going to make it 4 wide? They sort things out. No more 3 wide now. Wolsifer pulls away with Sutherland in tow. Then Jared Hughes. Braxton Skinner on the outside of Dustin Stallings. Cole Younger there in the middle of the racetrack. Slides up a little bit. To Zachary King. Big hit. That's going to be a spin. Younger down through the grass. No caution. He is parked in the grass. Will now start to roll. And he will rejoin the field on the front stretch. I say the field, he is all by his lonesome. Nobody around him as he starts to accelerate. And behind, there's the race leaders. Lap 60 here of 165, nearly down to 100 to go. There's your race leader, Mason Houseman, out ahead. Something about the aggression out of Mason Houseman this season just has me awe-stricken. He was super aggressive at Dover, made some big moves, ran some guys really rough, and I mean, that's okay. That's aggression, that's racing. Nothing wrong with that at all. But it's just interesting. You don't often see that out of somebody who's got a leg up. Usually guys who, I mean, think about Jimmy Johnson. 7 championships. He was one of the cleanest drivers ever to do it in a stock car, along with being one of the best. Never really had too many rivalries or run-ins. If anything, the most of a rivalry he had was with his own teammate and car owner, Jeff Gordon. I feel like he never really had many moments like that, as Brendan Maddox throws a big block on Isaiah Sutherland. Mason Houseman, though, with a championship and going back for round number 2, maybe here in season 3, has been super aggressive. Doesn't want to lose a race. Wants to win everything he can. Wants to lead every lap that he can. Wants to be the one out front, the one and only if he can. It's just a stark contrast, and that's okay. We need guys like that in racing. Guys that are willing to put it all on the line, puts it all on the line there, gets into the wall, and Johnny Wood Jr. is going to roll on by, is going to have the lead across the stripe this time, but is not yet clear. Johnny Wood Jr. going to have to dive to the inside of turn 1. Will he? No. He stays down low, though. Hooks the seam and falls back in line. And 3 wide in the background. Sutherland, Jensen, Maddox, and Stallings. Whoa, Wolsifer just hangs on to the race car. Got the wall maybe out of turn 4. Had a very squirrely moment. And something just happened to Houseman. Johnny Wood Jr. surges ahead to the race lead. Let's find out what happened. Watch this run from Johnny Wood Jr. Covering some of the rest of the field, Johnny Wood hooks the seam out of turn 4, and that's wall contact for Houseman off the corner. That gives the top side up to the 75 car. And here through turns 1 and 2, you'll see Johnny Wood Jr. is just able to hook the outside of the racetrack and get by the 78 for the race lead. So your stage 1 winner is back in control here in stage number 2, but maybe not for long. Mason Houseman right on his back bumper. Look at how close they are. 100 laps to go. Now 99 laps to go. Here comes Houseman, a run to the inside. Fighting for position number 1. He's going to dive to the inside and try to throw a big move here on Johnny Wood Jr. Will it stick? Answer is yes, and he will clear the 75. Now throws a big block on the 75 down the backstretch. Johnny Wood Jr. gets there. Johnny Wood Jr. doesn't quite get aggressive enough. Won't make the pass there in 3 and 4, but has the inside down the front stretch. And the 75 surges ahead, has the race lead for the moment, slides up in front of Mason Houseman, has the pass made. Doesn't throw the return block on the 78 car. Houseman gets to the inside, and you see that aggression come right back out. Back to the inside for the 78 car. Up into the wall, maybe. Here comes Wood Jr. back on the inside. And Johnny Wood throws it in, gets clear. Pass made on Mason Houseman. These two are the class of the field right now and showing it. They've got a second on 3rd place. And Johnny Wood Jr. going to grab the wall, come back down off the door, and oh, that was close. 10 laps to go, stage 2. A replay of that moment in turns 3 and 4 and how it got set up. You see Mason Houseman drive down the racetrack out of turn 2, trying to get a run here. Has the run down the backstretch into turn 3, throws it on the inside. Johnny Wood Jr. trying to cover it up, gets the wall, drives off the wall, comes back down onto Mason Houseman's door, and it just got really close there for a second between those two. Now, though, they've spread apart by about a quarter second. And Adam Buzzio has moved into 4th spot. Patrick Hernandez in 3rd. Scott Fritz 4th. Evan Patinko in 6th. Earl Pooler, Matthew Catania, Dustin Stallings, and Dakota Camper your top 10. As there is a fight actively happening for 10th. Isaiah Sutherland grabs the wall. Look at that contact between the 0 and the 3. Been a lot of contact tonight. A very physical race already for an intermediate like this. Stallings. Throw to move there on Camper. Very clean race, though, I gotta say, for as physical as it's been. Only 2 cautions, another incident here or there. Matthew Selby, the only car out of the race. Although his teammate Scott Fritz is trying to join him. Scott keeps having those connection issues. comes a run. Stephen Borbell has been passed up by the 98 of Jared Hughes. Thought he might have something for him again. And he will. Here comes a run. Three wide, Dakota Camper on the inside of Scott Fritz and Matthew Catania. Camper all the way down low. Fritz in the middle, blinking. And the 48 slides back. Camper pulls on through. And Dakota Camper has gone from fighting for 10th to fighting for 6th in a hurry. Catania gets the wall. Stallings goes to the inside. Here comes Camper. I've liked the look of this 3-car. He has been very strong these last couple of weeks. Has had some really nice shining moments. As Scott Fritz gets up into Carl Pooler, nearly down to Dustin Stallings. Oh my gosh! 4 wide on the front stretch of Kansas. That's a big moment. Crash! Isaiah Sutherland. All kinds of trouble into turn 1. That is your points leader. And that will end stage 2. A look back at how that happened. You see the Racers for Christ, number 24 down on the inside, shoves to the inside of the 48, comes up off the apron, was not clear, gets into Catania and hooks himself into Catania and Pooler. Your points leader in trouble. And I think he knew as soon as the contact was made that he had done wrong. We'll watch from the onboard here and see just how hard it is to see. I mean, this is your driver's POV. Maybe he's got triples and got that extra monitor to the outside, but oh, he barely came up too. Barely came up too far. And this will leave us with pit stops. Here we go. So that will end stage number 2. Johnny Wood Jr. gets it, meaning we will talk to Mason Houseman, who goes second in the stage. And Houseman nearly gets the race off a pit lane. This time, though, not able to grab the 75. Mason Houseman will have to settle for second off the pits, but Mason, what a run it's been for you so far. Very aggressive. Why have you been so aggressive here with the championship on your back, a race win already this season? Why do you have this hunger to win?
I don't know. It's just I like this track. I mean, in the beginning of this in the week, I didn't think I liked this track, but I seem to have some good pace. You know, I messed up there a little bit and let Johnny get back around me, but it was good racing. I hope we made it fun for you guys up there. Me and him were complimenting each other after that.
Very good racing so far between you and Johnny Wood Jr. Very aggressive from both of you. And, I mean, clearly that's what we have to expect the rest of the day is it looks like you guys will choose that time. Quickie yellows, I suppose. But how's the car feel? Do you feel like you can get away from him at any point?
I don't know. It's rough. If you can get that clean air, it's super good. But I don't know what happened to me there. It felt like the car got a little tighter on braking when I wasn't behind Johnny. It was a little confusing to understand. But once I got behind Johnny, I think my tires were just a little too worn out. So, I mean, the name of the game is tire saving. That right front gets torn up. I think mine was way worse than all my other tires. So, name of the game, tire saving. You get tight, then you're screwed, and then everybody's probably knocking down the exit of the walls.
We hear the term tire saving, but what does that mean? What do you have to do as a driver to save your tires?
Get that nose into clean air. You know, if you can help your car rotate around the corner, yeah, that's perfect. Because, you know, you see me dipping down just a little bit underneath Johnny. I can get that nose to my left front and make it so I can rotate the car and not have to input the wheel as much. So causes my right front not have to have as much stress, and lets my tires be all nice and happy.
That's the goal. Mason Houseman, nearly the stage 2 winner. Good to talk to you.
Thank you.
Here comes the restart into the Geico restart zone, this time by. This will complete lap 80, much like last week at Dover, and begin the stage. And oh, that was a jackrabbit restart from Johnny Wood Jr. That holds up the field a little bit, and Mason Houseman goes the wrong direction. Buzzio gets clear, and we're off to the races back under green here at Kansas. Oh, crashing Zachary King in the wall. Robert Moyer Jr. along with him, but the 51 car. Oh, and we're crashing some more. Isaiah Sutherland in another one. They checked up on the start, but it was Zachary King who got turned around off the nose of Robert Moyer Jr. We'll see how and why. Moyer got free, came down into the 51 car and hooked Zachary King. That's how that happens. And he just locked it down, came down the racetrack, and oh my gosh, Sean Lester. Might have to have a talking to my driver. Oh no. Sean Lester from My Whiplash Racing got free, got into the wall, was careening around the racetrack, got the wall again, comes down. Oh no. Oh, I am so sorry, Isaiah Sutherland. Oh my gosh. Coulter Clark. Poor Sean was out of control. Here's a look at the full restart for Sean Lester. Oh boy. It's been a rough season for Whiplash Racing. We've got Matthew Corder. We had Kyle Terzak. We've got Sean Lester. Oh, wow. He was just all over. Never had control of the car out of turn 2. That's unfortunate for everybody involved. Well, this marks halfway. Even Isaiah was all over trying to woe it down and then gets hooked there by the 31. Well, as mentioned before, as we get the 1 to green signal with the choose, we can take a look at what's upcoming here at Pit Stop TV. Some short track racing this weekend at Five Flags Speedway, much like, of course, the Snowball Derby last weekend. We're taking super late models and late model stocks. Well, you didn't have late model stocks at the Snowflake, but it was pro late models. But we don't have pro late models on iRacing, so we'll be taking the super late model stock car to Five Flags Speedway this weekend for the Sunshine Derby 300 and Moonlight Derby 100. Should be a lot of fun. December 13th, 14th, and 15th. You can catch it all here on Pit Stop TV. All of our social media links down below. Make sure to follow along with the fun. Here we go. Back to the Geico restart zone some 4 laps later. an extra caution under our belts. That's okay. Green flag back on the way here at Kansas. We're back under green. Johnny Wood Jr., Adam Buzzio. There's a crash in the back, and it's Sean Lester. Oh, dear. This time, I don't think it was Sean's fault. Seems like there was a checkup on the restart. Zachary King gets into Richard Smith there under yellow. They checked up. And, oh, Zachary King buzzed the tires, hooked Sean Lester around right after Sean had taken his fast repair. So the Atlanta winner having some trouble. Let's listen on board. They dropped down to first gear there, and we're having a situation. Where the field has come nearly to a stop. I think they're starting to roll now. They're waiting on the iRacing.com pace car to catch up, and it seems like it has, so we are back under yellow conditions. We had red for a moment at... Oh, hang on. I'm trying to get rid of... See, there we go. We can do red. I don't know if we could or not. We had red for a moment at Atlanta Motor Speedway, but back to yellow here at Kansas Speedway. Well, under this caution, we can take a moment to thank our partners with the BRB Buttkicker Cup Series. Of course, the Buttkicker, the namesake of the BRB Buttkicker Cup Series. We can't forget Ascendance Trucks, Idealease, or Sundance Pizza, big partners of the series. And they all help us get to and from the virtual racetrack week in, week out. A big thank you to our partners here at Pit Stop TV, Whiplash SimCams, ATVO, CC's Business, and Cody Williams Design. Talk to a driver under this caution. Let's dial up driver number 5, Adam Buzzio, under this yellow, as it looks like maybe these drivers are going to choose this time. Yes. And Adam, you choose the top of the racetrack. Well, you've been solid so far here early, but maybe a tick behind the 75 and 78. Can you get them on this run here in stage 3?
Oh, man, I don't know. They're just a little bit better than I am. That last run, I mean, I was really surprised in that second stage, the way we were able to make our way through traffic the way we did. I think we passed, I don't even know how many cars, 14, 15 cars in stage 2, and managed to get within striking distance, but I had just burned my stuff up. Mason and Johnny are both really fast. I knew they were going to be the ones to beat this week. Kansas isn't one of my better tracks, so I don't have any secrets to employ, but you never know how these races go. Hopefully we can get these little back-to-back yellows out of the way and get some more green flag racing in and see if maybe we can do something with pit strategy.
And you're the leading driver right now in the BRB bonus brawl. Any extra incentive for you? I mean, it's always a fun thing.
Well, I was lucky enough to win it last season, and my approach last season was treat them the same way I treat every race. So we're just gonna try to get out here and get the best finish we can tonight.
Best of luck.
Thanks, guys.
And we will leave Adam Buzzio back to it with Stephen Borbell and company. Here we go. Green flag. We are back under green. Once again at Kansas Speedway. Checking up, spinning. That's the 18 of Matthew Catania. He's just going to hang on. A couple of cars loosey-goosey all over the backstretch. 4 wide. 4 wide into turn number 3. They just sorted out. One car way down low was Zachary Maddox. In the middle was Jared Hughes and Matthew Catania. On the outside was Cole Younger. Props to those drivers for hanging on as we complete a lap under green here. Johnny Wood Jr. gets away in the Chevrolet. Then it's the Toyota of Mason Houseman, the Ford of Adam Buzzio, the Toyota of Dustin Stallings, and the Chevrolet of Scott Fritz, who fires to the inside there in turn 3. Scott Fritz has been a lot of fun to watch here. When he's not been blinking, he has been a lot of fun to watch this evening from the back to the front and staying up front after that flip in stage 2. Not an actual flip, but flip the stage, and he's going for the BRB bonus brawl, so he's now the highest driver in the bonus brawl for a moment. Buzzio fires back by, and these 3 are all racing for it right now. Maddox Graphics, I believe. Someone can correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe it's the Maddox Graphics BRB bonus brawl. That's why you see the blue from Maddox Graphics. Here comes Stallings on the inside. Matt Julis C48 dropped down a lane, trying to get a run off the corner. And up front, Mason Houseman is bringing the fight right back to Johnny Wood Jr. We have said that name a lot this evening. Johnny Wood Jr., Johnny Wood Jr., Johnny Wood Jr. We've said it a lot. He didn't pop out of a little tiny town display like Beetlejuice, and he didn't come out of the mirror, so that's good. Mason Houseman has been... Oh, crashing! Big crash off of turn 2. No caution yet. There it is. See, Matthew Erickson turned around. I saw Matthew Catania in it. I believe that was Zachary Brandvold or Gray Walker, one of the two. I believe it was Brandvold here on the 55 car. It would match up. Oh, Stephen Borbell with some contact there from Brendan Maddox. Borbell came down the racetrack. Brandvold came up. Zachary Maddox was there. Brandvold got turned up into Catania. Erickson, Walker, both pile in. Cole Lewis got a piece. 2 accelerate cars in 1 crash. But it started up here with the 2 car. It starts with the 2 of Stephen Borbell and the 8 of Brendan Maddox. Maddox came up the racetrack and got into Borbell, who falls back, comes down the track, and it was a bobble for the 55 of Brandvold. And that's what I saw in the background, was that big hit there. Gray Walker gets a piece of it. David Mayberry. Let's watch the onboard from Gray Walker. From Accelerate Racing, his teammate's going to be on his hood very quickly. And the 29. Mayberry gets a big piece of it there in the 29 car from HBR TV and Showtime Racing. I'll give a shout out to this car and HBR TV. Holler Boys Racing TV, good friends with Steve Singer and that crew. Whiplash SimCams has been proud to partner with them over the last couple of years. And similarly, a big nod to Robert Moyer Jr. and Freaky Fast Broadcasting. Glad to see Robert Moyer getting his racing legs underneath him, going racing here on Pit Stop TV with the BRB Racing League. and trying something different as far as not broadcasting here on Tuesday evenings. Almost said Monday, almost said Wednesday. Neither of those days is correct. It's a Tuesday. But good to see Robert Moyer joining us and going racing here in the BRB Racing League. There's one other car with Pit Stop TV logos on it. It's Jared Hughes in the 98. Or, well, I was saying one other car with broadcast logos on it, and that's Jared Hughes in the 98 car. We appreciate what he does supporting us here at Pit Stop TV. I made a joke about him running a Flow racing car last season, and that's why he runs this now. And it is oh so appreciated, Jared, and we appreciate you for what you do. We'll have 70 laps to go this time by. We've run about 15 here in stage 3. It's been slow going, caution after caution, but we are going to try something different here. A new restart, green flag back in the air, a new opportunity to go green flag racing. Houseman and Johnny Wood Jr. side by side off the corner, caution there, and Houseman might have had him. Isaiah Sutherland again turned around. Was checked up behind the 3 and the 8, moved to the outside lane there behind Evan Patinko. Shot 3 wide. Shot 3 wide again, and Maddox just came up off the inside of the racetrack. The other Maddox finished him off. He got the Maddox sampler there. Brendan, I'm not sure what happened. He just drove up the racetrack there all of a sudden. Zachary at least had nowhere to go. On board at the 8. He just opened up the wheel. I'm not sure why. Let's watch it again here for Brendan Maddox. Right here, he just starts to open up the wheel and go up the racetrack right there. I don't know if he thought he was clear. But that results in the 24 car going for a slide and a spin off of his brother. Off of Brendan's brother, of course, it'll be Zachary Maddox in the 14 car, who had nowhere to go in all of this. Been a rough day to be a points leader, that's for sure. Isaiah Sutherland has had some trouble here at Kansas. Let's dial him up. I'll tell you what, Isaiah, it's been a rough day to be a points leader. Definitely a rough one here for you at Kansas, but we've had some shining moments as well. Earlier in the race, you were strong. Later in the race, what's going on here?
It's one of those races, man. I told my teammates, you know, I had a feeling that Kansas was going to be one of those races for me, and so far it's been. Just made a mistake taking it 3 wide there early on, around the 48 and the 18. And once I cleared them, I came up to just get a good entry into 1, and had no idea the 18 was on my outside. So that started the wrecking, and just I've had bad luck ever since then. Car feels good. We got 67 laps. I mean, I've come back for far worse. So maybe if we can get some green flag laps and I don't get involved in anything, we can bring it back in the top 10. Maybe even pull out a magical win again. Who knows?
Points leader coming into today, of course, that might be changing after the day you've had. Of course, Mason Houseman's had a really strong couple of stages. You're kind of trying to keep up right now, but is there a track coming up maybe where you can flip the script and have it one of those really good days where maybe somebody else struggles?
Yeah, I'm actually looking forward to the road course. Even though I've never driven that road course, I like road course racing, so I feel like I could easily get a top 5 there, maybe even a podium. So that'll help turn things around. But we'll see. You never know. The day's not over. Maybe if I get a win and some others have some bad luck, I can hold on to this points lead. But nonetheless, we're going to see what we can do here.
Best of luck.
Thank you.
Move him back up with his teammates here on this restart as soon as I can find them. I promise I'll get you up there here in a second, Isaiah. I'll find the channel. There we go. And he will get back up there just in time for the restart. We go back green, lap 99 of 165, now lap 100. Three wide, Adam Buzzio in the middle. Stallings outside, Fritz down below. Mason Houseman gets the race lead off of the restart. Johnny Wood Jr. trying to fight back. It's going to be Houseman with the race lead. 1 lap complete. Spinning, crashing in the back, Brennan Maddox. It has been a rough day to be a green flag as well. Oh my gosh. Maddox just got into the wall, got free, trying to king. Just, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know where I was going with that. Trying to hang on to it. Mix the words, but look back at it here with his onboard. Got the wall, tried to keep it off of Sutherland. Threw the car into a spin to try and keep it off everybody else, and he kept it off everybody else, so that's good. But ends up getting the wall pretty hard there. And we'll join the field here with no fast repair left. Actually, I think he does have one left. So he may be okay. Three cars out of the race, those being Matthew Selby, Sean Lester, and Matthew Catania. David Mayberry is the 1 car, 1 lap down. He should get the wave by under this yellow. So he should get back on the lead lap from the HBR TV crew. As we get some pit stops. The front of the field stays out, but some pit stops there on the back. Taking a second to look through YouTube chat. Everest asking about fast repairs, as Revenger says there, yes, just 1 fast repair for these guys. Just 1 opportunity to fix the car if you get all that damage, which is important because now, with the damage update that we've seen for the iRacing Sim today and the NASCAR Cup Series cars, and, well, NASCAR National Series cars in general, they've updated damage properties to actually allow for there to be a chance to have too much damage and not be able to continue. That is something that can happen now. So you can have too much damage. You can be out of the race if there's too much damage to your car. That fast repair can come in for these guys and be a lifesaver, where in the past maybe they could keep going and just keep chipping away at the damage in hopes that they can get it all fixed. Now that can change. Asking about laps that are caution, we've got a graphic for that. 8 cautions. This is the 8th now for 24 laps. And 10 lead changes as well. It's been a lot of Mason Houseman, a lot of Johnny Wood Jr., mostly those two going back and forth. A little bit of Patrick Hernandez and Scott Fritz in there. One more look at what's upcoming for us at Pit Stop TV. Tomorrow night we go to New Hampshire Motor Speedway, the newly refreshed New Hampshire Motor Speedway. That's another part of the update today. A complete graphics refresh at New Hampshire has it looking absolutely fantastic. It's been thrust into 2024. It's been modernized. And it looks good. We'll be there tomorrow for the SimRat Market Series. Then Friday, Saturday, Sunday, we go racing at Five Flags Speedway with the Sunshine Derby 300 here in 2024. One last hoorah of short track racing. Should be a lot of fun. Let's see what happens here off the corner into the Geico restart zone. Green flag, back in the air. Mason Houseman with the hole shot. Johnny Wood Jr., Dustin Stallings will fight for second and third. Scott Fritz there in fourth. Patrick Hernandez in the fight. Oh, and Patrick Hernandez gets loose. Gonna drive through the grass and lose the handle of the car. He goes spinning. No caution. We will stay green. Scott Fritz to the inside of Dustin Stallings. Whoa, Buzzio, straight down to the inside. That'll make it 3 wide. And lap 106 is complete. Here comes Johnny Wood Jr. once again. We've had a lot of focus up front on these two all night long. As the sun begins to set, the fog rolls back in. See the sun setting in the background. Getting later in the day here in the sim, and that's the wall for Houseman. Here comes a switch up and a dive to the inside from Johnny Wood Jr. Crash! Evan Matinko straight to the garage. A tow, and he is out of here. Was racing with Dakota Camper there in the 3 car, and the 81 has had so much bad luck. No matter what league we see him in, he has just had bad luck day after bad luck day. This time, though, drives down across the nose of Dakota Camper. I hate to say it, but I feel like that was a little bit self-inflicted. Good job by everybody to miss him. Oh, man. Camper will lead the charge down the pit lane. He's going to bring in Zachary King, Jared Hughes, and Stephen Borbell and some more. There's Camper. Camper was just trying to hold his line down underneath the 81 car, and the 81 of Evan Pazinko, I think, was just trying to cover up the run, trying to get down and block the 3 car. I gotta say, I feel like that's a little bit on Pazinko, but we'll leave race admins to handle that. Johnny Wood Jr. got the lead, though, and honestly, I did not see how. I thought Houseman would have had it. Am I misremembering here? This is a replay. You see Patinko up the racetrack, and I guess Johnny Wood Jr., yeah, just had enough of the car ahead of him before the caution came out, right about there. Wow. That's going to change this race. It's going to change this race big time. We'll see the chews there from these drivers. Some going high, some going low. Just looking over the YouTube chat, guys. I appreciate everybody chiming in this evening. It has been a pleasure to have this coverage all night long, as always, and it's always good to see you guys hitting up the YouTube chat, having a conversation. Thanks for doing so. It actually helps us for you guys to have that conversation, so we'll take it. Here on this restart, it'll be Johnny Wood Jr. and Mason Houseman, and Adam Buzzio, Dustin Stallings, Scott Fritz, and Richard Wolsifer. Into the Geico restart zone. Lap 111 will be complete. Lap 112 is underway. We are back green in the Race Control Appreciation 250. That was a race-changing pass from the 75 of Johnny Wood Jr., that last caution, to get by Mason Houseman. And now, as Evan Batinko blends into the field, Houseman's got to race back up to the 75 car for it. Watch Houseman here, drives down to the inside, all the way down to that bottom seam. This time down in 3 and 4, stays a little bit low, and there's a caution. Oh no. Trouble deep in the field, it sounds like. Tony Patton involved in the 86 car. And that left front has seen better days. Racing with Brendan Maddox, a little bit of contact between the two of them. And Tony Patton was along for the ride, ends up in the outside wall. Jensen goes by, but Patrick Hernandez not so lucky. Smashes into the 86 car of Tony Patton. Maddox just comes up the racetrack a little bit. That is the third caution for the 8 car tonight. And Patrick Hernandez in the 91 had nowhere to go. Here's the onboard of the HF1 Motorsport driver. And that'll be his day significantly altered. He should have a fast repair left in the bank, but that's going to be a completely destroyed right front for the 91 car. And he does indeed have that fast repair in the bank, uses it, repairs the car, and we'll get back after it here. He has had a good day up until this moment. And pit stops that time. Mason Houseman gets down and away quickly. Some cars stay out. It'll be the 07 and the 2 out front. 07 and the 8, actually. Brendan Maddox will now pit. Let's go back, though, to the race off of pit lane if we can. Hang on. This might take just a second. And Johnny Wood Jr., this was the decision to pit in the first place. Just makes that last second decision to go in and pit. We saw some pit stop games last week that bit Johnny Wood Jr. at Dover. But this time you see most of the field all come in. Mason Houseman down into the box. What I'm wanting to see is if Houseman takes 4 tires or not. But you see Houseman in the white and blue car. 2 tires on. It's a 2-tire stop for Mason Houseman. So he's able to get down and away ahead of the 75 car of Johnny Wood Jr., who you can see putting on left sides. Johnny Wood Jr. goes for 4. Interesting change up, and we're about to restart into the ICO restart zone. Josh Anderson gets us back under green. Houseman chose low. He chose the inside lane behind Mayberry, and Dakota Camper gets loose and lets the 78 car go right on by. Johnny Wood Jr. gets held up. Josh Anderson on old tires out ahead. Here comes Stephen Borbell. 3 wide behind him, holding up Johnny Wood Jr. Adam Buzzio gets loose, goes up the racetrack. Wilsifer in the wall trying to get by. 3, 4 wide at a turn number 2. They all hang on to it, but only just. Johnny Wood Jr. is down to 9th position in all of this, trying to get by these guys. Scott Fritz goes by and gets the wall. Here comes the 75 car down to the inside. He'll go by the 48. That's good for 8th. Now works on the 3. Mason Houseman sits in 3rd behind Stephen Borbell, who races in the 2nd spot and works to the outside here of Josh Anderson. Anderson's got 40-lap old tires and fuel. He's got to pit before the end of this race. Needs another set of tires, but is holding on really nicely. Here comes Borbell on the inside. Looking for the race lead on Josh Anderson. So Stephen Borbell moves up to the point here at Kansas Speedway. Down about 45 laps to go on the door of the 2 car. Josh Anderson trying to hang on. He's got those old tires. Here comes back on the outside. Borbell's got him clear. Mason Houseman fires back to the inside. And Josh Anderson's going to plow a little bit on those old tires. Mason Houseman paints the white line nice and pretty and has Borbell clear. Stephen Borbell back to the inside of Mason Houseman, looking for the race lead. Here comes Josh Anderson again. And Johnny Wood Jr. has got through the traffic. David Mayberry's up here. Where did he come from? He's 5th. Coming up on 40 laps to go here pretty quick. Time winding down here. Still a lot of racing left to go. Orbell, Johnny Wood Jr. at second and third. Josh Anderson surges for fourth. Then it's Mayberry in fifth. Stallings in sixth. Then Fritz and King. And there's Stephen Orbell in the wall. That opens the door for the 75 to go right on through. Johnny Wood Jr. obliges happily and will take that spot right back away. Dustin Stallings trying to hang on to the top 5 here this evening. You know, we've got used to seeing one black, red, and white Ford in the top 5. That was the 5 of Adam Buzzio. He sits back in 15th spot, racing with Zachary Brandvold and Richard Wolsifer. Of course, had a big moment or two on that restart, fell back. And now moves to the inside of the 25 of Gray Walker and the 54 of Coulter Clark. So this is deep in the top 20. All while our top 2 go right back to it. Mason Houseman with the race lead. These guys have pitted again. They've got fresh tires. They're here until the end at this point, I think. The top 3 get single file and spread out. Scott Fritz, Dustin Stallings, Josh Anderson, the first battle on the racetrack. Anderson gets tight and has to back out. He's got to pit soon. That fuel will not last for that much longer. And here comes Isaiah Sutherland through the field. He won last week at Dover Motor Speedway. Got back to victory lane for the second time on a concrete racetrack. Becomes the points leader after a solid day at Dover. Wants to defend that, wants to try and get back up here and win again at Kansas. It'd be the first time on an asphalt track, and he sends it big time underneath the 2 and the 0. It's strange. You don't often have a concrete track versus an asphalt track here on, you know, in a NASCAR type season or league like this. You don't often race on concrete, but Bristol and Dover are the 2 big concrete racetracks. And Isaiah Sutherland has crossed each one off his list. Nashville, a concrete racetrack as well. And the 24 has got 2 of those 3. He got Bristol last season, Dover last week. Would like to add an asphalt track to that regimen. Gets by Dustin Stallings for the 4th spot. Stallings falls back to 5th. Borbell is starting to slide back. And Sutherland is almost back to the top 3. And it's worth remembering, I see you guys talking about it in the YouTube chat. Very much worth remembering, the top 2 had different strategies, different pit options. The 78 took 2 tires, the 75 took 4. And I'm glad we went back and got that replay because it was very important to tell the story between those 2 cars as this race goes on. But we're going to let them do their thing for right now. Log some laps as these guys fight back here in the top 10. Here comes Buzzio. Anderson throws a block on him. And Buzzio bullies his way back onto the racetrack. Anderson drives down onto his right front. Pass made for Buzzio. He gets on by. Gray Walker sits behind him. Patrick Hernandez is there. Josh Anderson's heading the wrong direction. Buzzio now going to work on Zachary King. Dives down to the inside of the 51 car. Patrick Hernandez comes through, grazes the 51. Here comes Gray Walker, here comes Zachary Brandvold. They've each had a bit of a rough day. Three wide now. One car peels off, that was Dustin Stallings. Why has he got a pit? Are these guys not good on fuel? They've run 20 laps. They've got 30 to go. Are these guys maybe not good on fuel? Is Stallings coming in to get tires and fuel and get back out there with an undercut, a short pit? Could this be a game changer right here? There's the leaders. They stay on the racetrack. Sutherland in third, then Fritz and Camper. Nobody else pitted. It was just the 0. Sutherland grabs the wall. Here comes Scott Fritz back to the inside. And these guys are now 3 seconds behind the race leaders, Houseman and Wood. So that spit Dustin Stallings out, 1 lap down, and he was not the only one to pit. I'll take it back. Zachary Maddox pitted, Brendan Maddox pitted, Dustin Stallings pitted. Those 3 cars. The 0, the 14, and the 8 all pitted, seeming like they know what's going on. They must know they're not good on fuel. So what does that mean for the rest of these guys? Are they trying to save fuel? Are they trying to stretch the fuel out? Well, for our top 2, it seems like they're going to keep racing. Johnny Wood Jr. tries to get to the outside. Mason Houseman slams that door. Wood leans on him a little bit. And a dive here to the inside, the 78. Oh, almost grabs the wall. Trying to fit 2 cars into 1 lane. A little bit of contact there. Two cars into 1 lane again. Johnny Wood Jr. just on the left rear quarter panel. And Mason pulls back away. In the background, you see Sutherland has got 3rd place. Carl Pooler back up to 4th. Dakota Camper 5th. Then Scott Fritz, Stephen Borbell, Patrick Hernandez, Adam Buzzio, and Gray Walker, your top 10. 25 laps to go at Kansas Speedway. Houseman drives down the racetrack that time. And that's going to open the door for the 75 cars. Side by side they go. Houseman now on the inside. Is he planning on pitting? Why did he drive down to the inside like that? Does he have something up his sleeve? You hear him in 5th gear there, where usually he'd be in 4th. Must be thinking about fuel at this point. His teammates all pitted. Caution, that's going to change it up. Not sure where the caution is. Josh Anderson ended up pitting. I'm actually not sure at all where the caution is in this. It might be for Mayberry. He was in the top 5 for a while and is suddenly not. This might just go down as a mystery yellow. Not sure where the caution was, but everybody's going to come in and pit. And the race off of pit lane, it's the 75, then the 78. Johnny Wood Jr. wins the race out of the pits. Everybody else leaves. And it's 2 tires out front. Matthew Erickson will stay out. Johnny Wood Jr. with 2 down and away. And we're going to have less than 20 to go. It's going to be an all-out sprint. 2 tires and fuel on these cars. You got to come in and get new tires. You have to. You have to at least get 2. Want to give a shout out to our partners, of course, with the BRB Racing League, the Buttkicker, Ascendance Trucks, Ideal Lease, and Sundance Pizza. You'll see the choose here. Matthew Erickson goes high. Wood goes low. I think Houseman's going to choose low as well. That was a little bit discombobulated of a choose. It's going to be a 4-tire stop out of Isaiah Sutherland, a 2-tire stop out of Johnny Wood Jr. and Mason Houseman. 4 tires for Camper, 4 tires for Pooler, 4 tires for Borbell, really everybody else. So the only 2 that took 2 tires were Johnny Wood and Mason Houseman, trying to make sure they have that track position. A shout out as well to our partners here at Pit.TV, Whiplash Simcams, ATVO, CC's Business, and Cody Williams Design. So under this caution, we go past 20 laps to go. This is 20 laps to go now. We'll have 19 to go when we go back green. And it'll be a new opportunity for Johnny Wood Jr. to try and best Mason Houseman. Houseman, I feel like, is going to have an advantage through turns 1 and 2 and down the backstretch. But it'll be that initial advantage on the inside for Johnny Wood Jr. if he gets a good restart. And that's just because he's staggered ahead of him. At the same time, with Erickson choosing the outside lane, that could hurt Johnny Wood Jr. That could allow the 78 to go by him, and that gives up the top side to Mason Houseman. Overall, I think the winner in this restart is going to be Mason Houseman. Matthew Erickson should be able to hold his own for a few laps. And I don't know where the rest of these guys are going to fill in. But let's find out. Geico restart zone on the way. You see the field bunching up. Green flag coming out once again. Matthew Erickson leads us back into the restart zone. We are back green at Kansas Speedway. Hausman makes it 3 wide into turn 1. That's a big move from the 78 car. Quickly dispatches of Matthew Erickson. Johnny Wood Jr. hangs right with him. Spinning goes Patrick Hernandez. Side by side, rubbing fenders. Mason Hausman gets away. Carl Pooler in the middle. Isaiah Sutherland down below. 1 lap complete off the restart. Pretty wide right behind Sutherland. You see Erickson up top, Borrell in the middle. That's Pooler down below. Erickson gets the wall again. And Camper is going to go for a slide. Through the grass goes the number 3 car. He'll keep it on all fours, thankfully, but he will have to take through the grass to get back onto the racetrack. Mason Hausman, meanwhile, leads. The sun peeking through the clouds and the fog here late in this Kansas race. Out front, it's all Mason Hausman, then Johnny Wood Jr. and Isaiah Sutherland. 3 wide behind these guys. Look at that through the front stretch. Oh, that was Richard Smith up into Zachary King. King's going to slide and just hangs on to the race car. Oh my gosh, the craziness will not end. I see a question about laps led. It's going to be a little bit off because we had the iRacing crash early in this race. But Johnny Wood Jr. with 67, it should be a little bit more than that. It should be about 87, I believe. 85 or so. Mason Hausman with 48. That number should be accurate. 1 for Stephen Borbell. 10 for Patrick Hernandez. 2 for Scott Fritz. And Hausman continues to lead. Sutherland third. These guys have broken away now from the rest of the field. And you can see the laps led there on the right side of the ticker, the right column. Caution again, Zachary Maddox maybe. He's down through the grass. Richard Smith is slow through the grass. Couple of cars involved here. It was 4 wide off the corner out of turn number 4 this time. Oh, more. This is gonna be a wild replay, I feel like. I saw just a clip, a preview of the checkup here. Stallings up top, Skinner in the middle, Smith in the middle, Maddox down below, 4 wide off the corner. Braxton Skinner, Richard Smith make contact. That's just a case of guys not wanting to give. Nobody wanting to lift, everybody wanting to stay in it. Skinner came down into Smith, and that kicks all of us off. A look on board with Zachary Maddox. He never even sees it, just gets hooked. This will take us down inside of 10 laps to go. Couple of pit stops, but the leaders will stay out. Mason Houseman, Johnny Wood Jr., Isaiah Sutherland all stay out, as does just about everybody else on the racetrack. A few takers in the back. Dakota Camper, one of them, it looks like. Braxton Skinner, Eric Jensen, David Mayberry, Evan Patinko, Matthew Erickson, Richard Smith, and one Dakota Bly back there. Let's chat with the fourth place driver. He's the one out of the top 4 that we haven't talked with yet. It's Stephen Borbell, one of the names that is a part of the Holler podcast on Thursdays. And Stephen, this is, soundboard surprise. Well, anyways, Stephen, this is an interesting spot for you to be here late in this race, right behind the top 3 that have been 3 of the fastest, if not the fastest cars here today. Do you have anything for them?
I'm going to be honest with you, Andrew. I do not. I am here purely by luck and strategy. Kansas is a terrible track for me. If I can come home 4th, I will be ecstatic. I will tell you that. But who knows? Maybe they're going to wreck each other. A couple of these guys have some history with each other, and might back my way into a win.
I appreciate the honesty. I really do. The very candid answer is definitely appreciated. Well, on this restart, is there anything you feel like maybe you can do to give yourself a better chance?
Yeah, it's all about getting this line running well, and I feel like the outside has good momentum coming out of 2 on the restart. If I can keep Isaiah pinched down below me and get a run with Johnny, anything can happen from there.
Inside of 10 laps to go. Best of luck. Maybe we'll be hearing about a finish on Thursday. Who knows?
Yes, sir. I appreciate it, Andrew.
Move Stephen Borbell back up with his teammates and let him focus up for this restart. Into the Geico restart zone we will go, this time by inside of 10, make it now 9 laps to go at Kansas in the Race Control Appreciation 250. A big restart on the inside for Mason Houseman. That's going to bring the 24 car along with him. Johnny Wood Jr. trying desperately to hang on to his second place. He will. Wants to get up there and fight for the race win again. 3 wide behind him. Adam Buzzio down low underneath Brandvold and Pooler. You see from high above the Kansas Speedway, everybody's spread out. Buzzio charges on the inside. I know they look like ants from way up here. But Buzzio's that car down low. Brandvold in the middle, now up top. And look at this, up front. Nothing changing. It's still Houseman out front over the 75 of Johnny Wood Jr., who goes fastest. That was 7 laps to go. Here's the gap from Mason Houseman on back to Johnny Wood Jr. I like that nickname from Kale, J-Dub. I like that a lot. That's really simple for Johnny Wood Jr., J-Dub. That's a good one. 6 laps to go there. Mason Houseman controls this race right now. Johnny Wood Jr., I feel like, has been slightly better throughout the course of the day. Mason Houseman's had explosiveness. And here comes the 75, charging up the inside. That's an explosive moment from Johnny Wood Jr. He takes out a chunk of that lead. Falls back on the front stretch. The top side is so good off the corner. I think Johnny was trying something there. Trying to find anything to get him up to that 78 car. Sutherland not far back. Borbell there as well. The top 4 underneath the blanket. All within a half second. 5 laps to go, coming to 4. Johnny Wood Jr. gets down underneath. You see Mason Houseman cover it up, drive down the racetrack on corner exit. That's going to stall the 75 out. Borbell with a send. He gets by the 24 car for 3rd. Stephen Borbell, candidly, not happy with Kansas. Didn't feel like he had anything for the top 3. Yet he goes by one of them there. Gets by Sutherland. Mason Houseman, Johnny Wood Jr. 3 laps to go at Kansas. On board with Johnny Wood Jr., a couple of cars down low. Exiting the pit lane, that could get in the way of these guys. One is Dustin Stallings. And that's the wall for Johnny Wood Jr. J-Dub with a moment. Stallings getting in the way. That's going to hold the 75 up even more. It's going to take everything that 75 car has got and more. This time by, it'll be 1 lap to go here at Kansas Speedway. Brought to you by Whiplash Sim Cams. Final lap, white flag in the air. Mason Houseman trying to make it 2 wins on the season. Johnny Wood Jr. trying to come from behind. Stephen Borbell lying in waiting. One more opportunity down the backstretch. There's Richard Wolsifer on the inside. Where does the 75 go? He's going to charge up the inside and try to get to that 78 car. Johnny Wood Jr. with the charge. Mason Houseman's going to outlast it and go to victory lane in the Race Control Appreciation 250. Johnny Wood Jr. gets himself turned. Borbell goes second. It's a crash across the stripe. Adam Buzzio's involved. Dustin Stallings. But Mason Houseman out front this evening with the race win. Gets it done here at Kansas Speedway. So it's a race win for Mason Houseman here at Kansas Speedway. See the celebration taking it all the way down to the pit lane. The Maverick Motorsports crew elated with this one. Oh, big contact there between teammates. And we will take a look back at your unofficial race results as they're just having some fun now. Let's actually go back first and check out that finish this evening. One more time back here. So watch Johnny Wood Jr. This is coming around to take the white flag, I believe. And right here, you see he's going to throw a block, get turned. That's why Stephen Borbell comes up the racetrack, gets smashed into by the zero, and then some more. Look at the chaos unfold with Brandvold, Buzzio, and so many more getting involved after the line. One more look back out of here. So a second win for Mason Houseman. This is what happens in the background. Johnny Wood Jr. and more. And there it is. Johnny Wood will hang on for third place. We'll be talking to him and Borbell and Houseman. Each of them again. But when it's all said and done, it is none other than Mason Houseman out front with the race win. We'll be talking to him and the whole top three. It's a 3/10 margin of victory just about over Stephen Borbell. Johnny Wood Jr. there in the third spot. Isaiah Sutherland in fourth and Scott Fritz in fifth. Carl Pooler, Zachary Brandvold, Adam Buzzio, Jared Hughes, and Gray Walker, your top 10. Coulter Clark, Tony Patton, Zachary King, Cody Dorsey, and Cole Younger. Robert Moyer Jr. in 16th spot. It's interesting how this all sorted out. Tony Patton with a really good finish. Robert Moyer Jr. comes back. Cole Younger comes back. Cody Dorsey. A lot of these guys having really good finishes. Richard Smith, Matthew Erickson. And then you get guys that had not so good finishes. Guys like Dakota Camper who outshone that performance. He was so good at points in the day. Ends up 22nd. Zachary Maddox and Brendan Maddox down deep in the field. Richard Wolsifer deep in the field. Evan Patinko had a good run going at one point. Finishes 29th this evening. Justin Stallings finishes up your top 30. Patrick Hernandez there in 31st. Then Cole Lewis with an early PC shutoff. Matthew Catania, Sean Lester, and Matthew Selby, your top 35 in all 35 cars that ran. Let's bring in race winner Mason Houseman. We spoke with him at the end of stage number 2. We're speaking with you again, Mason, as a 2-time race winner now this season. What a day for you at the office. The stats outshone a little bit, just a little bit by Johnny Wood Jr., but you got the race win, and I think you'll be points leader again. How's that feel?
Feels good. You know, I like being the points leader. It makes you feel good. I'm not going to be at Bristol next week, so that might drop. I got finals coming up. But, you know, Johnny, I'll be modest. I'll be saying that he was the fastest car today. You know, it was super hard to get around him, and when you did get around him, he put up a battle. You know, I just love the fact that he raced me clean the entirety of the way. You know, not me and him never actually got into an incident together. So, you know, I just have to say thank you to him about that. But, you know, being points leader is always a good thing.
There were some moments of contact between the two of you guys. Good to hear that it's all fun and games pretty much. It's all just good racing between the two of you. Sometimes it's not that way between drivers. But as we go into Bristol, you say you're not going to be there. Next race for you then is going to be Austria. Do you feel like you can capitalize on that situation and keep yourself up top of the points?
I mean, last season I won both of the road races. You know, I like to say that I'm a road racer. I mean, I think before anybody found me out, my first ever league when it was on Watkins Glen with a cup car. So, you know, I've been putting in a lot of laps. You know, after Bristol, we have 2 weeks to a break, so that's enough time to help myself out, figure out the track, help my team out, get them accustomed to the track. But, you know, Austria is a bowl. You know, I mean, it has a bull statue. It wants to mess you up on every corner. Every corner you could spin, you could hit the little lips, and they could flip you up. But you know, it's interesting that we're going to an international speedway, and I love it, especially since it's a road course. But you know, it's gonna take some time to get that work in.
Well, there's a little bit of extra time for you and everybody else to get some practice in. Of course, that's after the holiday break and in 2025. Mason, it's a shame you won't be at Bristol next week. Best of luck on finals, and I can't wait to talk to you again.
Yes, and I want to say thank you to Maverick. I don't know if I said thank you to them last time I won. You know, they took me on to the team. They let me settle in very well, and you know, Dustin, Brendan, and Zach, you know, great guys. They really want the best of me, and they don't complain about anything. They listen. They help me. It's the best combo a man can get. I want to thank my girlfriend. I love you. You know, thank you for watching these races. It really means a lot to me. And thank you to all the people who actually watch our races. You know, you guys are the reason why we feel good about racing. You know, we want to create a good product for you guys, and I hope tonight we created a good product. And obviously, Andrew, thank you for what's it called? Broadcasting our races, and you know, you do a great job. You put a great product out, and I'm happy that I can call you our broadcaster.
It's good to have you here this evening, Houseman. Congratulations. It's been a long night, I will say. I go crazy sometimes when Zach isn't up here with me or when you aren't up here with me, but I appreciate the comment there, the sentiment for sure. Mason, good to talk to you once again. Best of luck.
Yes, you did a great job tonight. Thank you.
And we will drop down and grab second place, Stephen Borbell. And candidly, Stephen, you said you didn't like Kansas very much. You thought you had nothing for the top three. You go out there and pass two of the three of them. You go home second place this evening. That's got to be a win compared to what you were expecting.
I mean, I guess I have no idea what I'm talking about, Andrew. Anything I say in the future, just ignore it. For whatever reason, that last restart, I figured out what I didn't know the whole race. If I was just burning my right front all race, and then I actually found the line and how to throttle control it, especially coming in 3 and 4, it was very difficult for me all night. But it worked out, so yeah, I'm happy with it.
And this is a really good finish going into a week of unknowns at Bristol next week. How do you prepare for a racetrack like that?
Oh, I love Bristol so much. I think last season I ended up finishing second there to Isaiah. It's all about tire saving, and it's just staying consistent with it each lap and not trying to push too hard. Now we have 35 plus cars, so it's going to be a little bit different. Maybe some accidents take out a big chunk of guys, but it's just staying out of the mess and keeping the tires under you.
Well, Stephen, good to talk to you when it's all said and done, especially a couple of spots higher than you thought you were going to be. Best of luck at Bristol next week.
Yes, thank you, Andrew, and I want to give a quick shout out to my teammates Adam and Jared for a good team race, and obviously you for all the work that you do putting on this each week, and you do a great job at it.
Appreciate the kind words. That's Stephen Borbell with one lap led this evening, second place tonight at Kansas Speedway. Third place, you'll find Johnny Wood Jr. with a block that went wrong there right at the stripe, one spot shy of where you would have been otherwise. Do you wish you had turned 4 to the stripe back?
Yeah, I mean, I thought he had a huge run. I threw a block last season at Vegas that worked perfectly. Steven was like, nobody, you tried this before, it ain't gonna work. So I took him to the grass, and it just didn't work this time.
It's still a second place effort. The most laps led this evening, 79 it looks like, when it's all said and done. A big day for you here at Kansas. How do you capitalize on another big run next week, maybe at Bristol?
Yeah, I think I was running second behind Isaiah last season at Bristol. Made a little mistake there. The Dover mistake. I mean, the pit entry. The pit entry mistake was crazy. I would have had a good finish there, but Bristol's a tough one too. You got to be patient. With 40 cars, it's going to be a chaotic, wreck fest. But hopefully not. Hopefully I jinx it.
I'm glad you brought up the Dover incident. I was going to let you live it down. I was going to let you just ignore that and not have to think too much about it. But, hey, it's good to talk to you. Glad you can joke about what happened at Dover last week, and hopefully we're talking to you next week at Bristol.
Yeah, we got to entertain the people. We got to remind them,
Fair enough, Johnny. Good to talk to you. Congratulations on what's still a solid P3 day.
Yep, shout out Kale. Shout out Kale.
We had Kale Wolf and more watching along, cheering you on. I like the nickname he's got for you, J-Dub. I don't know how much I'm going to use it, but J-Dub is a good way to shorten up your name. I like that one.
Yep, we race out there at Millbridge.
Really? At Millbridge? So you've got to be local then?
Yep, right here in Mooresville, 33, exit 33.
Okay, well, I'm not so far away in Catawba County. Well, I used to live in Mooresville. So anyways, small world. Johnny, good to talk to you, and maybe we'll be talking to you next week at Bristol.
Yep, sounds good. Appreciate it.
Small world there. You learn something new every day. Johnny Wood Jr., local to the Mooresville area, races in Millbridge. That is good to know. I might have to get out to Millbridge sometime soon. I've never been for a night of racing, but regardless, that's it for us this evening from Kansas Speedway. A big thank you to all of you for watching, and a big thank you, even bigger thank you, to our partners with the series of the BRB Racing League, the Buttkicker, Ascendance Trucks, Ideal Lease, and Sundance Pizza. Here at Pit Stop TV, it's Whiplash SimCams, ATVO, CC's Business, and Cody Williams Design, all helping us get to and from the virtual racetrack. That does it for us this evening at Kansas. Next up, it's New Hampshire Motor Speedway. That's tomorrow night for the No Limit Racing Sim Wrap Market Series. Some new drivers and more chiming in tomorrow. It should be a night of fun. 30 plus cars on the racetrack. Should be back around 40 even. Going to be a big night tomorrow night. Race number 8, I believe, for those guys in their 18 race season. That tells you where they are, right in the middle part of the season, right in the middle stretch as they get ready for their playoffs. Then Friday, Saturday, Sunday, a bunch of Five Flag Speedway racing. We have super late models and preliminary racing on Friday. We've got late model stocks on Saturday with the Snowflake 100 lookalike event. It's the Moonlight Derby 100, and then the Sunshine Derby on Sunday with super late models on track. Should be a lot of fun. Make sure to follow along with Pit Stop TV everywhere on social media: Facebook, Instagram, Twitch, YouTube, and X. It's been a pleasure as always, but that is it for us this evening from the one and only Kansas Speedway. A bunch of fun this evening. One driver ended up there in victory lane, and that is Mason Houseman. Congratulations to Mason Houseman and everybody on a solid race this evening at Kansas. A quick look at race info: 12 cautions for 37 laps, 17 lead changes in the books. A good day here at the virtual racetrack for sure. That'll do it for us this evening. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.